If you're a new brand, you want to make sure that you show other people who've bought from you, because people are going to trust people more than your brand and your copy.
Welcome to Honest E-commerce, a podcast dedicated to cutting through the BS and finding actionable advice for online store owners. I'm your host, Chase Clymer, and I believe running a direct-to-consumer brand does not have to be complicated or a guessing game. On this podcast, we interview founders and experts who are putting in the work and creating real results. I also share my own insights from running our top Shopify consultancy, Electric Eye. We cut the fluff in favor of facts to help you grow your e-commerce business. Let's get on with the show. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Honest E-commerce. I'm your host, Chase Clymer, and today we're welcoming to the show, and also this is going to be the first video podcast we ever do. I mentioned that before. Nora from Printful is joining me. How are you doing today?
Great. I didn't know this was the first video podcast. It's very cool. Excited.
I'm super excited. All right. So the reason we're doing videos now, and here's a hint for everybody. If you have a podcast, you should probably do video if you're putting it up on YouTube. So when the pandemic hit, I started doing a short form version of this called Unprepared that I'm sure anybody that's actually watching this or listening to this has heard of. And what I saw was those were all videos because they were shorter and it was easier to do. I saw that the plays were like way more, like 10x on some of them. Like we were getting, big numbers on YouTube. Like we were getting 10, 20 views on the normal podcast, but like hundreds of views on the ones with video. People like people, you know what I mean? That makes sense. I don't know why it took me this long to do it. So we ran through all the different podcast remote recording apps and SaaSes out there and settled on Riverside for anyone that's curious. And now we're trying to do all the episodes with video. So thank you, Nora.
Cool. Glad to be the first. Great.
Awesome. So we're absolutely going to screw this one up. So no pressure on us.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right. So if you're in the e-commerce game, I know you've heard of Printful. They've come up on the show before, and now we have an expert on their side here to kind of talk about drop shipping. You're doing a lot of things over there with printing and fulfillment for customers and e-commerce. But before we get into that, Nora, let's walk it back. What were you doing before you got to Printful? And what is, your position over there? What does a brand manager do?
Yeah, so I've been with Printful for just over 5 years, like 5.5 years now. So it's been quite a while. Before that, I studied English literature in university. I had a job as a kind of community and editorial manager for a website in Toronto before I moved over to Latvia to join the Printful team. So at Printful, I started as a content marketing specialist. This was back when our marketing team, I was the third person to join. So I did a little bit of everything back then, from emails, social media, blog posts, you name it, I probably did it. Then over time, as our team grew, I became a project manager for marketing projects, so working on kind of bigger scale projects for the marketing team, and now I am our brand manager. So basically what I do now is make sure that we can grow brand awareness internally and externally. So internally, making sure that everyone at Printful, we're a huge team now, making sure that everyone globally understands, okay, what are our values, what's our mission, and then externally, reaching new audiences, making sure that our customers and just people also know who we are, what we do, what we stand for, and how we can help them.
Absolutely. I think that if college is what you want to do, I think communication is probably the number one degree. Learning how to communicate with people is going to help you in life so much. It's a difficult task to kind of pick up.
Right. Yeah. It's, about training yourself to use, language as a tool. Like it's a tool essentially that you can learn and cultivate. And it does really come in handy later in life. Whatever you do, I think communicating is very key.
Alrighty. So for like the 8 people out there that don't know what Printful is, can you kind of let them know? Because you guys are probably the number one in the industry, in my opinion, I think. And that's not even opinion. I think you have the biggest market share.
That is, yeah. I think we are, among the top in the industry, and I'm glad that you feel that way as well. But yeah, so we are a print-on-demand dropshipping company. So essentially, we print and ship products for our customers and sell them and, ship them to our customers around the world. So, you connect with Printful, you add your products to your store, connect it with us, and when you get an order, we essentially print it and ship it under your brand. So that's kind of the main service that we offer, but we also do warehousing and fulfillment, for example. So if you have products that you get from, other providers, you can ship them to us in bulk, and then we can store them and ship them on your behalf. We offer all sorts of extra services, like we have design services if you need help creating, designs that you want to sell on products. We have store setup services if you need help actually setting up a store, creating a platform. So, our main business is, the print on demand, but we do offer a lot of extra services on top of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's kind of get into it for how would a brand, I guess, what's the ideal customer for Printful, and who's going to have a good time utilizing Printful? Because I feel like the software can integrate with any store at any level of their business. That's not really the argument here, or it's not an argument, but that's not really the issue. It's who's going to have a better time, like who's going to actually enjoy using the software, who's going to see success with it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different use cases. I think anyone really, and I know that's like not the best answer saying, oh, everyone can use the service, but I think with print on demand, with Printful, it is true. We have a lot of small to medium sized businesses. That's kind of our core audience, but it's great if you are just starting out a business. If you have, maybe an idea that you want to try out, you don't want to spend a lot of money up front. It's a really great way to get started. If you are, maybe a designer, an artist, you want to figure out, or a musician, you want to figure out how to monetize what you're doing through merch. That's a really great way to go about it. If you have a business that is completely unrelated to e-commerce or merch, and you want to just add some kind of a product component to it, you run a business, you want to sell t-shirts for your business, print on demand is great. And same with if you're a larger customer too. I think the beauty with having print on demand and using Printful is that we can also scale with you. So if you do, higher volume sales, then, partnering with us is great because we can scale with you. We can keep up with all of your demand. So I think, most commonly we see it's small to medium-sized businesses that use us, but really there's tons of use cases where print on demand could come in handy for whatever you want to do.
If you're struggling with scaling your sales, maybe Electric Eye can help. Our team has helped our clients generate millions of dollars in additional revenue through our unique brand scaling framework. You can learn more about our agency at electriceye.io. That's ELECTRICEYE.io. Our partner Rewind can protect your Shopify store with automated backups of your most important data. Rewind should be the first app you install to protect your store against human error, misbehaving apps, or collaborators gone bad. It's like having your very own magic undo button. Trusted by over 80,000 businesses, from side hustles to the biggest online retailers like Gymshark, Gatorade, and Movement Watches. Best of all, merchants like you can get 1 month of automated Shopify backups for free by visiting rewind.io/honest. That's rewind.io/honest. Let's talk about the advantages of print on demand for a small business versus, just going to my local merch house and buying a run of t-shirts.
Well, I think the main difference and the main benefit with print on demand versus going to your own local print house is that you can be very hands-off with Printful or with any POD service provider. So you don't have to, first of all, you don't have to order anything in bulk. So you don't have to go to your local print house, buy all the shirts yourself, kind of guess which colors, which sizes are going to sell best, and then print those. With on-demand printing, we print stuff on demand. So, you add your product, add your design. You don't have to guess how much of what you need. Once you get an order, we'll print it out and ship it to your customer. So that I think is huge. You don't have to buy anything in bulk. And then I guess the second main advantage is you save time. Like you don't have to go to your printing store, every week, every however often. You connect it with Printful, and then we take care of the rest essentially. So I think that's, the two main biggest benefits is the saving time and the saving money.
Absolutely. Well, I guess on the saving money part, I want to drill down there, and I'm sure that this is going to be a question that you're going to have to answer very poetically. But how do the rates on the products compare to, buying it from a local resource or just more of a printing company? Because you guys do offer more services than just the printing on it. You do the fulfillment as well, and it's more of a kind of a split once you sell the product. So how do the fees compare versus just owning inventory on it?
Yeah, I'd say with I mean, with Printful, like when our prices, we factor in not only the product, but the fulfillment itself. So, our prices are probably going to be a little bit more expensive than ordering stuff yourself and printing them. They're also going to be a little bit, more expensive than some of our competitors out there too. But with us, you get the quality. That's really big. We want to make sure that all the products that we offer, that we stand behind them, and that we do the best job we can and the highest quality printing. So I think, with that extra expense, again, you are saving yourself time. That kind of adds into it. And then with Printful, it is going to be higher quality than maybe elsewhere.
Absolutely. And thanks for answering the question, honestly. That's kind of what I want. That's what I was going after. Hey, everybody. Do you want to win back valuable lost time for your support team? Gorgias has machine learning functionality that takes the pressure off small support teams and gives them the tools to manage a large number of inquiries at scale, especially during the holiday season. Gorgias combines all your different communication channels like email, SMS, social media, live chat, and even phone into one platform and gives you an organized view of all of your customer inquiries. Their powerful functionality can save your support team hours per day and makes managing customer orders a breeze. They have allowed online merchants to close tickets faster than ever with the help of pre-written responses integrated with customer data to increase the overall efficiency of customer support. Their built-in automations also free up time for support agents to give better answers to complex product-related questions, providing next-level support, which helps increase sales, brand loyalty, and recognition. Eric Brandholtz, the founder of Beard Brand, says, "We're a 7-figure business, and we have essentially one person on customer support and experience. It's impossible to do it without tools like Gorgias to help us innovate." Learn how to level up your customer support by speaking to their team here. Visit gorgias.grsm.io/honest. That's gorgias.grsm.io/honest. So with the quality, that's a great little transition there. Is this all direct to garment printing, or are you guys doing screen printing on some of the products? How does that work?
So we offer, I believe the number now is over 250 products, and a lot of them, we have different techniques for different products. So when it comes to just t-shirts, our main printing technique is going to be direct to garment. We don't use screen printing. That's because direct to garment, it's just, I think, the way of the future, I guess. Like, it's easier to scale. You have more freedom to print more colors. It's more cost effective for one-off prints. So that's kind of our main printing method for t-shirts. But we also do, for example, we have sublimation printing and cut and sew printing. So that's when, we take a piece of material, print the design just directly on the material, and then afterwards we cut it and then we sew it into the garment. So we do that as well for, leggings, backpacks, and some of our other products. We do embroidery. For hats, for beanies, also for t-shirts. We have embroidery on some t-shirts, aprons, that kind of thing. And we always, try to expand new product categories, see what our customers like. So, we have engraving. Also, we do jewelry, phone cases. There's a ton of, methods and products that we offer. But for t-shirts, for apparel, it's mainly going to be DTG.
With that in mind, let's kind of transition back to the listeners of the show. So what would be kind of like a good strategy, or what have you seen other brands do utilizing Printful to find success? I know that's a very open-ended question, but I guess maybe I'll give you a more specific example. Would be how would a established brand that that they already have a customer base they're already selling a product to them, what would be kind of the best way to utilize a direct to garment printing service, fulfillment service like Printful?
Yeah, I guess, okay, first of all, just on your note of success, I think finding success, it is challenging. Like, you can't just, set up your store, offer a product, and expect it to, go viral overnight. Like, to find success using Printful or any, POD, or starting any business, like, you do have to put in the work, put in the marketing, know your audience, and, how to reach them. So I think definitely, first of all, to find success, to use Printful, whatever business you have, you have to really work at it. It's not going to happen overnight. I think for established business owners who are interested in kind of using print on demand, how to find success there, first of all, is knowing your audience, knowing what is going to interest them, whether it's I don't know what products they're going to want, what kind of designs are going to speak to them, what color palettes they're going to want. So, understanding that is really key. But I think the beauty with print on demand is that it's so easy if you're, an established business, if you want to try it out, is that it's really easy to test stuff out and see what works and what doesn't. Like, it's pretty easy to experiment. So, you can try, if you have an idea for a t-shirt for design, you can add it to your store and just see how it goes. You can, if it sells well, great. You have a hit on your hands and, we're going to help you fulfill it and it's all going to be great. If it doesn't sell as well as you thought, well, okay, fine. You can pull it from your store and then try something else. So I think it's all about knowing what your audience wants and then, experimenting and figuring out, okay, what are the sizes, the colors, the products that are going to speak to them and figuring that out.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the main advantages of a brand like Printful or a product per se / service is the ability to test things, which is cool, before investing a lot in like doing your own product run or whatever through your, I think that's kind of something that a lot of brands overlook, that I would kind of recommend is like, if you are looking to get into a different category, using something like Printful to test the waters first is a lot better investment. Maybe not margin wise, but like as far as testing goes, because, obviously at the economies of scale, it makes sense to bring that stuff in-house at some point. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. But for the first iteration of it, testing it, it's like, why not?
Yeah, I think, either way, it's kind of win-win. You can test a product. Again, if it doesn't go the way you thought it would, if it doesn't sell, okay, fine. Like, you can pull it from your store. You're not stuck with inventory with products that don't sell. At most you lose the time you put into creating the design. If you ordered samples or, any ad spend, fine, you lose that. But, comparatively, it's not as bad as if you'd ordered a bunch of stuff that just doesn't, resonate with your audience. And then, on the other hand, if it takes off, great. You found a hit, you have a partner that can print it for you. And then as it scales, you can decide what to do.
Businesses are the most successful when they own their own data, customer relationships, and their growth. That's why more than 50,000 e-commerce brands, big and small, trust Klaviyo to deliver their ideal customer experience. Klaviyo is the ultimate e-commerce marketing platform for online brands of all kinds and all sizes. With email automation, SMS marketing, list growth tools, and more, you'll get everything you need to build strong relationships that keep your customers coming back. If you're tired of relying too heavily on paid advertising or third-party marketplaces for your sales success, you're not alone. It's time to take back control of the customer experience. More and more online businesses are moving to Klaviyo to grow higher value customer relationships through personalized email and SMS marketing. And the results are staggering. Ready to drive future sales and higher customer lifetime value with a marketing platform built for your long-term growth? You should get a free trial of Klaviyo over at klaviyo.com/honest. That's KLAVIYO.com/HONEST. Absolutely. So let's talk about kind of those that are just starting out. Maybe they've got an idea, they're about to build out their first store, or they're thinking about it. So if you're thinking about it, just do it. Who cares? But what would you kind of tell them to keep in mind? What do you see? This doesn't even have to do with Printful, really. It's just like, what are people doing these days with building their own e-commerce brand on like that you're seeing, kind of working with dozens, if not more, brands a day. What are they doing that's in finding success?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess, okay, first of all, just practical advice for anyone thinking of starting out. Definitely suggest, if you're going to go the POD route, is to order samples for yourself before you, offer them on your store. Definitely something we recommend, because with POD, someone else is doing the printing for you. So you don't really have control of that. So before you offer it, you want to make sure that you kind of stand by your products and you print out samples for yourself, so you can see whether the kind of colors match, how you had imagined, on a product. You can also then test the quality, see whether it actually matches your standards or not. You can see how the product fits or feels, which will then in turn help you with product descriptions, and having a product on hand, you can take product photos. So that's, I think one thing I definitely recommend anyone does who's interested in getting started. Other things, again, as I mentioned, like, it takes time, honestly. Like you can't just add a product, create a store and then expect things are going to go well. You're going to have to put the time and the effort into making your store, appealing, into growing trust with your audience. So, people who find success, for example, they'll put a lot of time and effort into writing product descriptions. So again, why you want your, product sample, so you can write those descriptions, take amazing product photos. Because when you're selling stuff online, obviously you have to sell, convince your customers through words and through photos. So, paying attention to that, making sure your store, it looks professional, that everything works as it should, that checkout works, and just spending a lot of time in the little details. And then I think adjusting as you go, like, again, figuring out which products are going to be interesting for your audience, which social media channels you need to be on, where your audience is hanging out. So just, understanding your audience and how you're going to reach them, and how you can adjust your store and your offering to be appealing to them.
I appreciate that because, there is, and that's the reason that this podcast was started so long ago was, there's some bad advice out there that, you could build $1 million business overnight with drop shipping, which just isn't true at all anymore. Like, well, it was hardly true back then either. And it's, you're hearing it straight from one of the number one drop shipping providers out there. Outside of, I guess Alibaba would be the other one, or AliExpress. I don't remember, or below is the one that gets all the stuff from there. But anyways, that's getting a whole tangential things. You're hearing it straight from the source. Like, it's not easy. It's not overnight success. It's going to take hard work. So you kind of have to think about that. Since 2004, Avalara's vision has been to harness the power of cloud technology to help simplify sales tax for businesses of all sizes. Avalara's solutions are designed to affordably scale with businesses as they grow over time. Tax compliance is not a revenue-generating activity, so Avalara's technology is designed to help you manage tax compliance as efficiently and accurately as possible, so you can reclaim your valuable time and reduce risk in your business. With more than 1,000 signed partner integrations, Avalara likely integrates with the ERP, e-commerce, mobile payment, and point-of-sale systems you use today. Find out how your business can be sales tax ready at avalara.com/honest. That's avalara.com/HONEST. Avalara, tax compliance done right. And then I think a lot of businesses, when they want to get first started with kind of e-commerce, everyone wants to do fashion and apparel, which is fine. Everyone wears clothes. I spend a lot of money online on clothes. Like, let's be real. And using a partner, a print-on-demand partner, is great there. But what advice would you have for people that specifically are looking to like start an apparel company or like a lifestyle brand type company?
Yeah, first, just going back to what you said a moment ago, just touching on that again, you hear the words passive income thrown around a lot. And I don't really like that sentence. Especially with, print on demand, because yes, like you outsource so much print, like you don't have to spend time on the printing, on the shipping, fine, that's off your hands, but you still have to spend time on the marketing and on the business side of things and understanding, okay, so I have this person that's printing everything for me. What do I do to actually get them, orders to print? So just touching on that a little bit again. I think if you're interested in starting an apparel brand, and I guess that's also, one of the side effects of on-demand manufacturing and print on demand is that it's such a low barrier to entry that a lot of people can now do it. Like, it's so easy to start an online store, which is great. If you want to start one, amazing that it's so easy to do. And on the other hand, okay, it's so easy, so a lot of people are doing it. So, I think you really have to understand, first, the niche that you're targeting. So you want to make sure that, okay, you have a specific audience that you want to go after. I like recommending that you kind of focus on something that like what is a niche that you're part of, a club or a hobby that you do, that how to target and how to reach. So I think you need to have, a clear audience. I think you need to have cool designs too that stand out. Look at what's trending right now. How can you get involved in that? Like text-based designs are pretty popular. Anything right now, like a viral meme can be made into a shirt. So like, are there any like viral trends that you can get on? And just kind of understand, okay, like how do I create really cool designs that are going to resonate with that niche? And then figure out what products you want to sell as well. Like, again, every niche is going to have products that interest them. So if you want to sell, I don't know if you're, want to sell athletic apparel. Well, then, okay, you can do t-shirts, tank tops. We have at Printful, athletic shorts. We have a whole athletic line. So figuring out also the products that are going to resonate with the designs that are going to appeal to your audience. And then really understanding yourself, like how do you stand apart from all the other apparel brands that are available right now? I think having a really clear, mission. I always recommend that stores have, a clear and about us page. I think that's it can be an overlooked part of your website. And I think having a clear story, telling, the world about yourself, why you launched your business, I think that'll also help you stand out from the competition.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything. And even going back to earlier when you touched on like investing time and energy and possibly money in the content element of it, we're talking a lot now about printing clothes, and apparel, and doing kind of like a lifestyle brand that way. But it doesn't matter what you're doing online. If you're building an e-commerce business, like your content needs to be better than everyone else if you want to succeed. The investment after finding a product that works is all about marketing and copywriting and sales, and your business is nothing if you're not selling anything.
Yeah, no, I think the little things really matter. If you are writing a product description, if you do have copy on your site and there's a typo, well, I mean, I personally probably won't trust this brand because, there's a mistake on their website. Like, are they really going to be legit? Do I want to give them my credit card info? So like all these little things really add up and they matter.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, just there's such a, I think, well, there's two things I want to say here. First of all, like there's an inherent level of professionalism that comes with like not professionalism, but trust that comes with the professionalism on like really well designed websites. That's a conversation for another day, but you'll see these top tier brands and the level of time and energy that they put in their website. You can see it in the content and the design that like just resonates trust with consumers. And so you'll see that they'll be converting at higher conversion rates, and they'll be having first-time customers purchase a lot more frequently because like, wow, this looks really professional. This is really trustworthy. So that's where the time and energy needs to be spent. But if on the flip side, like if you're not going to invest that time and energy in making a professional product, a professional presence on a website and awesome content, you shouldn't expect anything. Like if you just there are great themes for various levels of whatever you're doing, on Shopify or whatever platform. But if you're just like throwing up something free and like creating some crazy mall offering with 9,000 products with no general direction, no niching, no nothing, you shouldn't expect anything.
Yeah, and I think also stuff like having a clear return policy, for example, I think that's really important because if I'm buying, online, I have no idea if this product is going to fit me. Like, what do I do if it doesn't? Like, how do you handle returns? So even thinking of stuff like that, social proof, that's going to go a long way. If you're a new brand, you want to make sure that you show other people who've bought from you because people are going to trust people more than, your brand and your copy. So yeah, all these little things that help, create a really high quality website and high quality package are going to make a difference.
Absolutely. Is there anything that I forgot to ask you that you think would be worthwhile to share with our audience?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I think, print on demand, I guess, going back to kind of what we talked about already, it's great if you want to get started testing new design ideas, testing new niches, getting started in apparel. I think it's a really great way to go about it. With Printful specifically too, I don't mean to be like overly promotional or anything, like there's other POD providers too, but with Printful, we have all sorts of tools to make it even easier to kind of get started and to start a business. So we offer like our design maker tool. So it's really easy to create designs if you're like me and don't have the skills or the software to do it yourself. We have all sorts of extra services to help you get started and, e-commerce platforms to connect with. So I just think it's a great way to get started, to test ideas and to, validate whatever you're trying to do.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's something to be said with, like when I was younger, I was always playing around with, building websites and just going off and like just learning. I think if you want to learn e-commerce, building a brand using like a POD provider is like the number one way to learn. Like as long as you go into it with the expectations of like, this probably won't make me a millionaire, but I'm going to learn a lot about e-commerce, and then you can find what part of e-commerce is exciting for you. You know what I mean? Maybe like you really like the design element of it and you're gonna learn, web design and UX and CRO, or maybe it was the marketing element that caught your eye, because there's other ways to succeed in e-commerce and in this ecosystem outside of building a brand. You know what I mean? There's service offerings, there's all sorts of stuff that you can do. But That's my advice to anyone out there that's listening that isn't looking to build a brand, that's like looking to be a consultant or something like that. It's like, first thing to do is just build a website and learn what excites you.
Yeah, and that's also, at Printful, our philosophy is like a lot of the things that we recommend, on our blog and our videos, like we've done some of them ourselves. We've experimented too. So that's how kind of we know how we take what we've learned and we also translate that to our customers. And that's really the best way is just to learn by doing and just experimenting. I think, when it comes to success in e-commerce, a lot of it is just experimenting, finding what works and, trying new things until you get it.
Absolutely. Awesome. Nora, thank you so much for coming on today. I'll make sure to add a bunch of links in the show notes if people are curious about Printful or they want to get a hold of you. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was great.
All right. I can't thank our guests enough for coming on the show and sharing their knowledge and journey with us. We've got a lot to think about and potentially add into our own business. You can find all the links in the show notes. Make sure you head over to honestecommerce.co to check out all of the other amazing content that we have. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and obviously, if you're thinking about growing your business, check out our agency at electriceye.io. Until next time.